You've been maligned. You are not afraid of the Senate president. And that I asked if this was exclusive to you alone or if this is a particular trend.
Yeah, that outburst. That's what I'm about to explain that.
Yes.
Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate president is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa Ibom. And at first, we were at Ikot Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us. Just 3 of us were walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away, and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me, and the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president, too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate president now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, you know, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate president's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ikot Ekpene. And my husband asked me, "Natasha, what did the Senate president whisper to you? What's he telling you?" I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate president. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. When we laid in bed, I lay to my right, and my husband wrapped his arms around me, and he said, "My love, you know you can't tell me anything. What did the Senate president tell you?" Again, I was like, "Don't you believe me?" I said, "Nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy." Then my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone, and I should not go to the Senate president's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, you know, after office to like get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company. I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, "Oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it." Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent and won't. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, "Senate President, you know how important this Ajakuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it." I was like, "Sir, please, why can't you take this motion? It's very important. It's been listed." Then it was listed the 3rd time and stepped down. He then said, "Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy. At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court. I left his office, and when I got home, I told my husband. I didn't tell my husband what happened. I just told my husband.
Good afternoon, my people. Welcome to Local Matter. Another breaking news don't day like this. So the senator representing Kogi State Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti, don't come out, don't expose Senator Godwill Akpabio. She been tossing her because say she no great sleep with Godwill Akpabio. Now waiting big Godwill Akpabio, they do them anyhow, they maltreat them anyhow for government house. And now waiting she been taught with that too. The way the matter take long, so this matter no be matter when Nigeria is supposed to overlook because our leader, any small opportunity where they get, they won't take advantage of it. Now so that they do for all this public office. When I share this video now, make this video go viral because all this nonsense where they happen for public office, they need to give a stop to it. And if today be the first time where they come across this channel, I beg don't forget to like, share and subscribe so that whenever we drop another Obunga video, then go be the first person we go say I'm
to the leader, Senator Payme, expect a number of senators that they should please intervene and allow him to that. I never told them what happened. My husband had to take a trip to London. Then the Senate President traveled to London. My husband met with the Senate President in London and pleaded with him, let my wife take this motion on Ajakuta. That is very important to her.
Okay. All right, Senator Natasha.
Said, okay, that he did not take it because he was protecting me. Hold on, please. He didn't take it because he was protecting me. Protecting me from what? Anyway, at the time the motion was taken, it was the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Barrow, that actually sat. The Senate President stood up and walked out. So it was Senator Barrow that actually took it.
All right, Senator Natasha.
And from there,
Natasha.
Many other incidents happened.
Yes, Senator
let's
Natasha.
Talk about the nightclub.
Yes.
Hold on, let's talk about the nightclub incident.
Professor Kila is going to ask you a question. I'm so sorry to have to interject here, but I just want to mention that, and I'm glad you gave the caveat at the beginning of your statement, that this is your side of the story, and the Senate President has the right to defend himself or to counter what happened between you privately. So what I assume, or for what you're saying, is that what happened last week Thursday began from a private conversation, and then you have felt like you've been maligned as a result of you not agreeing to certain propositions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
what has happened? You know the story of when a student keeps being failed.
Yes.
Please, let me say this, Ayo. You know the situation we see in universities whereby a student is continuously being failed just because she has not slept with the lecturer. That's what I've been facing, in simple terms.
Thank you. Professor Kila.
That is what I have been going through.
Thank you very much, Professor Kila.
Now, moving to, should I speak about the nightclub incident?
No, that's okay. Professor Kila will come in now. Thank you.
Don't do that. It's quite time to come in because you've just indicted the lecturer indirectly. And I'm coming to ask you a question. Senator, it is from your side of the story, it is clear there's a lot of undercurrent and personal issues that had led to the, should we call it the outburst on the allocation of chair thing. There's a lot going on, and you've made a series of allegations which indicts the Senate President morally, if not criminally, at least. And there's the indictment of abuse of power, because if he's refusing you to do your duty for personal reasons, we need to see if he has the right to do that. But let me ask you a question, just to simplify. This idea of your seat was reallocated and you don't want to use it. What's in a seat? Why was it so important for you not to just move as you've been told to do so and deal with it later? What's the importance of saying no to that seat allocation?
Thank you so much, Professor Kila. Sitting arrangements in the National Assembly or in the chambers is very critical. That is why at the forefront we have the leadership, and after them we have ranking senators, you know, second timers, third timers sitting there. And the nearer you are to the Senate President, the more visible you are. You're able to interface with the daily activities, and then you have more visualized, like the cameras capture you more. You're more present as against being a backbencher. So where I am sitting, the Senate President sits at the lowest point, while I am sitting at the topmost point, but on the same level.
So, Senator, it is, Senator, I recap for you.
So whenever whenever I stand,
it is safe to say that
where I was moved to,
you felt they were reducing you.
Where the workers, the chamber staff sit, Yes.
So you felt they were relegating you. They were relegating you.
If they say, hold on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me say this.
Yes.
His excuse that it's because there were 2 vacant seats due to the decamping of the senators, right?
Yes.
And that they had to, why did they have to pick on me to start the shift? There were other senators that were in front of me that would have filled the seat. Okay. Why did it have to be me to fill in the seat at the far corner? But I will say this again. If you see where I sit at the back, there is a silent degrading of senators that, as they say, came from court.
Yeah.
We are made to feel as if we are lower than our other colleagues that resumed office and were sworn in earlier than us, even though we're all first-timers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I remember when I asked, initially, I asked why I was not sitting amongst my other first-time colleagues.
Yes.
And I was told that is because you resumed 6 months later. So it's almost like a punishment because I resumed 6 months later. Therefore, I have to sit or take seats or wait for my other colleagues whom we all ran elections with together and won together, even though we were rigged.
So Senator,
we were made to sit at the back. So after me,
it seems clear to me.
Senator Akpoti 2 weeks after me. Yes.
So it seems to me, from your own narrative, straight from your own narrative, that you feel victimized and you feel you're being treated like a second-class senator in that place. Let me ask you a question based on your own narrative.
I have a very important...
No, but very quickly, you're going to say, let me just ask you just this question.
Professor.
Yes, just this very question. Do you feel that other senators in that house, male or female or different party, do you feel that they're standing up to what they ought to be doing, or do you feel they are also with their silence complicit with your victimization? I want you to judge the whole Senate, 109 men and women.
No.
Okay. You don't feel they're complicit, and you don't want to...
Now, here it is. I have enjoyed tremendous support from my colleagues. And the fact that a number of my colleagues have not spoken out publicly in my defense or criticize what has happened does not mean that they do not visit me privately at home or they do not call on me to give me words of encouragement. Why they are yet to come up openly and criticize the activities of the Senate President, probably that's best known to them. However, one question I have been asked a number of times is, why are the women silent? Why are the 3 other women silent?
Yeah, so why, Senator? Why do you think they're silent? The day I filed the suit of defamation, the suit that sexual act whereby the Senate President's SLA on new media, Mr. Patrick Mfong, sexualized me by addressing my attire as being transparent and that the only thing I know how to do is to wear pancake to the chambers. So when I filed that suit, Senator Ireti Kingibe, hold on, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator
Natasha,
and Senator
we're low on time,
3 women who send messages to me that they do not support the litigation. And none of them have called, apart from Senator Ireti, that called my husband to tell me to withdraw that suit and all that. And my husband charged her that you were the same person who had come to the house to tell him that the ST was